Welcome to Remelations. We're your hosts.
I'm Mindy.
And I'm Brooke. Remelations is a dream interpretation podcast where we read listeners' dreams. From nightmares to the just plain bizarre, join us as we give you our comedic interpretation of your fucked up REM cycle. This week we have a dream from Hannah about spooked horses and an evil clown.
We also have catnaps, of course, that have to do with the beautiful world of Candyland, missing pelvises and fingers, as well as sleep stories about grandpas and bed sheets. And stay tuned because I'm talking about the mysterious and very, very rabbit hole subject of time travel.
Oh.
Sorry, Bessie, this is going to be a long one, so buckle in, buckle up, grab your best friend, and let's get started.
Woo!
I'm hungry.
Oh.
And we are at a standstill in this house of who's making dinner.
Uh-oh. Stalemate?
Yeah. We're at a stalemate. He's like, what do you want? I'm like, what do you want? Well, I picked last night. I'm like, well, I picked the 2 nights before that.
But who's doing the cooking?
Well, that's also the problem, right?
Yeah.
Like we try to divvy it up, but tonight I'm just like, I have no desire to pick dinner, and I don't think either does he, and we just might not eat. I'm not sure how this is going to go.
Go out, order in.
I know, right?
There are options besides just not eating because you can't agree. It's the beauty.
Then we go out and then we're disappointed.
I
know. I'm just going to have to drink my White Claw tonight for dinner.
Just be easy breezy. Beautiful. Cover girl.
Salad it is.
What's in the fridge? We're having ketchup and honey mustard for dinner and a side of mayonnaise. I mostly just have condiments in my fridge.
Well, it's good to see your face, darling. Yeah. Would you like to get started with a dream?
I would. And this one's you'll like it, I think. I think everyone will like it.
Good. Okay.
I think it's a good one.
I'm excited. I'm ready.
All right. This is Hannah, and she's from Grand Island. One dream
How does she spell Hannah?
I was going to let you know. Sorry, I wasn't. I know you're good about that. Hannah. So I think that's the typical spelling.
Hannah with an H.
Hannah with an H.
I'm sorry, where did you say she was from?
Grand Island. And I'm not exactly, I mean, I've been to a Grand Island in Nebraska, but I have a feeling like there's probably Grand Islands.
I would think
elsewhere.
I'd rather go to a Grand Island somewhere
that is not
warmer than Nebraska.
That's not landlocked. Okay. It says island.
It's an awful name for a town if it's landlocked.
I mean,
really?
Yeah. Nebraska's landlocked.
Those founders were big dreamers.
Big dreamers.
Big dreamers.
Speaking of big dreamers, Hannah has a good one.
Yes.
Okay. And she starts by kind of explaining a little bit, which I think is very interesting.
Great.
So one dream I had, I still don't understand what the fuck was going on. And it stayed with me to this day. I was 15 when I had this dream. I'm now 43. And I can still remember every detail. Interesting. Okay. Do you remember any dreams from when you were 15?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Probably. You probably do.
I remember dreams from when I was a kid. But I know at 15, I was definitely coming into the cafeteria and being like, Brooke, I had the weirdest dream last night.
That is true. That's how this all became. I don't know why I asked that question. The age where we we met a little before that, but you always told me about your dreams. So I don't know why I asked that question.
Yes, senior year when I moved into your locker for no reason, then it was just more convenient, and I got to see you more, and I just put my shit in there. And I remember very vividly days I would meet you at the locker at 7:20 a.m. and be like, I had a weird dream last night.
Ugh.
It was about one of my many, many high school crushes, I'm sure.
Of course it was. I just had a high school dream last night. Which is weird that you say that, like one of those like stress dreams where I didn't have my schedule and I didn't know which class to go to. And I was running late for school anyway. And I'm like, I'm going to miss first period and I don't even know what first period is.
But did you have your 8-pocket binder from Laverne?
I didn't even look.
See?
I didn't even open my backpack. I was just a nervous wreck. Like at the end of the dream, and probably this was not more than a couple of minutes, I still hadn't made it to the building. So I was very late.
That's awful.
For the first day of school. And I had no idea what classes I was in or where they were.
Classic.
It was a doozy. Okay. Anyway, back to Hannah, 43, and she still remembers this dream from a 15-year-old mind. Okay. I'm standing in front of some horse stables at night. There was one horse in a stall. The ground was cold and muddy, but not squishy. I love the description here, Hannah. Very good. She sets the mood.
Like it. Horse stable.
Yeah. Standing next to me is what I can only describe as a man. 2 question marks. It was solid, black, human-shaped, not at all smoky, more like he was just made out of black solidness.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it. Don't like it. Shadow men. Can't trust them
Not
fully.
good.
You can't trust them when they're fully in flesh, and you can't trust them in shadow form.
Don't trust the man. Just kidding. Okay. He did cast a shadow, though, so that is interesting.
Okay.
No features at all. It did feel like a male. I remember feeling unnerved. Then there was music playing that sounded like a carnival or a merry-go-round.
Ugh.
And the man was twirling and dancing.
Hold on, I thought you were going to say twerking for a second there. I was like, he was twerking? He was ahead of his time.
I don't know if that's better. He was twerking and dancing. Maybe his dancing was twerking. I don't know. Twirling and dancing.
Okay.
And then he grabbed me in a tango-like pose and started spinning me with the music until I pulled away.
I'm so conflicted.
I knew you would be.
Okay.
I'm telling you, this one's going to take you on a couple of turns.
Okay.
Then he turned and put his finger up to his lips in a shh type gesture and then turned to the horse stable. He bent his knee and pulled up his leg really, really high and stomped it on the ground in front of the horse. The horse spooked and started getting agitated in its stall. Yeah,
I'm so nervous.
I'm like, by the look on your face.
I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the man then stomped again and leaned toward the horse when he came down with his foot, and at the same time blew fire out of his mouth.
On the horse?
Well, the horse seems okay. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have picked this dream.
No, I understand that. Brooke will never pick a dream that has animal cruelty.
I would have sent it your way
and
let you decide if you wanted to go there.
Okay. Yeah, don't blow fire on horses. It's not really nice.
No. It's not nice. They don't want you kicking around them or blowing fire in their faces. No. I mean, I don't think there's anyone that would like either of those things. No. Any living creature. But the horse then reared up on its hind legs and started freaking out. Mm-hmm. And I ran.
Should. Good idea. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I ran to the first car I saw. The back window started to roll down, and in the back seat was a small boy with brown hair. Okay. He was probably about 7 years old. He was.
I don't know what's funny about that, but okay.
I know. Are you ready? He was dressed in your typical clown suit. Lacy collar, red and white polka dot with big pom-poms going down the front.
Oh.
His face was painted in clown paint. No big nose, though. Just a red-colored regular nose.
Oh, well, that's phew. Thank God.
Makes all the difference.
That makes me feel better.
He opened the car door. Right. Listen to this. It obviously made her feel better. So he opened the car door and gestured for me to come inside. It seemed safe.
No,
okay.
Not Hannah.
Hannah, no. As I stepped forward, his face immediately changed into this sharp-toothed evil smile and a scary frown. I stepped backward to run, and when I turned around, there was the black shadow man running towards me. I screamed, and then I woke up. But there's a little more.
Okay,
little more.
I'll
Not
hold
part
it
of
for
the
a second.
dream, but
Okay.
just hold. I know you've got a lot to say. So Hannah explains, I grew up in a haunted house. I think it was the thing in the house messing with me. And all of my siblings have had dreams of the shadow man.
Ooh.
My brother told me about one he had with me in it and the shadow man that was creepy as hell. That's my only explanation. I have no fear of horses, carnivals, clowns, etc.
Okay.
That's why my dream made no sense to me at all.
Oh.
Well, Hannah, woo, this could get interesting. Did you have something you wanted to say right from the start?
Yes, and
Chomping at the bit, so to speak.
Oh, nice play. I'm just gonna say I don't like this man or this creepy clown kid, and I think he was very deceptive. that creeped me. Like that's what I picked up. But the first thing I'm thinking of is he's trying to be charming and dance.
Trickster.
But yes, trickster is the exact word that came to my mind.
Yes. Well, I did a little research on this one for some meetings because there was so much symbolism.
There's a lot,
in this particular dream. So I wanted to just kind of start with the horse stables because that was the big first location of the dream.
Yeah.
And I've read that stabled horses can be a sign of feeling constrained, which makes sense, or restricted or repressed within our life. It makes sense.
Right. You're 15 years old. There's a lot of structure that you have to work around. Yeah.
Yes. And there's lots of stuff you want to explore outside of that structure. It's a very confusing time, I think. But it's also associated with our communication with others and power over them. So it can indicate hidden agendas. Okay. With the strange stomping the man does to the horse, like in a dream, seeing a horse that's being controlled can be a sign that you're feeling under pressure or repressed. Repressed again is another description. So it's a word that is used many times with this. And I think it could be the cause of her dream. But then comes the dark man. You're right. I don't like him. Don't like him. Not a fan.
Nope. He might have some great dance moves, but that's not all. You can't just go off dance moves, Hannah. He can twerk, Hannah, and he can tango.
There's much more.
The double T. He's a threat. He's a twerk and tango shadow man. Yeah, it is hard to resist. But you have to.
The double T. It is. You have to resist. And especially like we said at 15, it could be several things, but like a shadow man or like a man in black in a dream may represent feelings of insecurity, fear, or uncertainty about a situation. And that sounds like a 15-year-old to me.
Sure. It sounds like a 43-year-old to me. I don't know. I'm still insecure.
It sounds like me every day of my life.
Doesn't everyone still battle with it? It does go away, but I think as you get older, you learn to accept it more. It's not like those thoughts ever go away of insecurity.
And not care as much. No, they're there, but you kind of just accept it at some point, I feel.
Yeah.
But I did read that if the shadow man is pursuing or threatening you, it could symbolize a fear of being attacked or a desire to avoid confrontation. And if the shadow man is observing or watching you, it could symbolize just that you're feeling judged or watched. So that was what I came up with Dark Man. But there's so many Dark Man dreams, but it's still all about that threat, communication issues, and feeling trapped.
Yeah. And just tricked. That's the thing. It's the trickery in this one that I don't like.
I do think that maybe he's just messing with her, right? But the fact that she's 15, her life situation at 43 is probably very different. So it's hard to predict if there was something specific at the time. But since her siblings had it and she had the dream, I do feel like it might have had something to do with the house.
there is some, I think, paranormal influence into this dream. And I think it can happen because really, if you're talking about the veil and how thin it is between, life and death or dream state, consciousness and unconsciousness, the veil is very thin. And that's a perfect time for evil
something to come in.
To do it. Because it happens both ways. It's not always just like an evil presence that may come into your dreams or like a shadow figure. It could also be, good, a visitation from a loved one who's passed. But you often see that in dreams.
Yeah. But just think of it. She's 43 and she had this dream when she was 15 and she still can't shake it. Yeah. So even I feel like she still feels trapped. She doesn't have the dream anymore, but she still remembers it vividly. Yeah. And like you said, the music and the dancing, it seems so jovial, like a false sense of security. Very tricky, like you said. I feel like she's being messed with or purposely made confused. So I agree with you on that. The next thing I think we need to talk about is this little boy in this car.
Let's not.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, okay, please.
Let's get into it. I know it's scary, but let's get into it.
Okay.
Feeling safe? What the fuck, Hannah? I don't look at a creepy dark car and see a creepy little boy in a creepy clown costume as comforting or safe.
Yeah, but I think you also have to take that feeling from a dream because feelings and dreams mean something.
That's true. So, as you know, I have a cat named Haddonfield, which is the city where all the Halloween movies take place in the movie world. And Michael Myers, is my biggest fear. The first movie, he was dressed as a little clown when he stabbed his older sister. So it's that's what I think of, a little boy in a clown costume. It's just not comforting.
Still evil. Yeah, not good.
We have talked about clowns before, but in dreams, they are often associated with happiness and joy. But I don't think that's the case here. I think it's more of a fear or sadness, which is also, it's kind of like clowns are either represent happiness or sadness and fear. I don't think there's no really a gray area. No.
There's no middle of the road clown.
No.
Like a melancholy clown. Hi.
Who wants to dream of that?
I'm Frankie, your clown today. You want a balloon animal? Maybe not. That's okay.
Balloon. I can do snakes and worms. If you
want to see a rabbit,
I'll just go sit over here.
Nope. Okay.
I don't have one.
I can juggle.
All right. But I can't. So if you just want to see me throw 2 balls in the air, I can do that.
That's what she said.
But if you're dreaming about a clown that is sad or scary, it could mean that you're feeling particularly low or overwhelmed, which,
sure.
Sign me up for that. But also as a 15-year-old, But when such a scary clown appears, it can represent a person in your life that wants to drag you down. And we all have those. We don't need them. We are critical enough on ourselves. We don't
kick them out of the horse stable.
Need other people to
in the car.
Out. Take a hike.
Not invited.
It could have been one of her friends, relatives. Who knows what was going on when she was 15. So a dream like this can represent your own feelings of being trapped, like we said. Trapped is a common theme in the symbolism in this dream. So it sounds very familiar. All of these dream symbols seem to make it feel like she's trapped or not communicating or doesn't have all the information, which I think is exactly what the point was, because 100%, not everyone has to agree with me, but 100%, I do feel like it was really just whatever entity was in that house fucking with her and her siblings.
Yep.
I just do. I just feel like it because it's generalized symbolism and you're 15, but it was so haunting for her. It was, and the fact that her siblings, at least one other sibling had a dream, I do feel like it was whatever was in the house.
I agree.
And I think it was purposely confusing her.
And Hannah, I hope you've moved out and beyond. Hopefully you did not move into your childhood home. Some people do. I hope that was not your case. And you moved far away from that haunted house.
I'll say one last thing, because when I don't remember my first house, I was too young when we moved into the only house I've ever known. I think I was 3.
Yep.
But my brother had terrible nightmares of a dark man when we lived in that first house. Terrible, horrible nightmares that he would wake up screaming from. As soon as we moved, he never had another one.
I believe it. And especially children are so sensitive to it as well.
They are. They are. So I just believe that something was in the house fucking with you, only because I have, not me personally, but I do have personal experience, I'll say, with that. But oh my God. Great writing, though. Great descriptions.
Thank you,
I think
Hannah.
she really painted a
Beautiful.
super creepy picture. Thank you, Hannah.
Thanks, Hannah, for submitting that dream. Hey, bestie, we need you to do us one favor. And actually, we haven't asked for this in a while, so I think it's a good time now that we have quite a few new listeners. Hey, Indiana, what's happening there? There's a lot of Indiana besties.
Awesome.
Take a second. You're in your app for your phone, Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever you listen on, and just hit the rate or the review button. Just give us 5 stars. Or you can give us 1, but we won't like you so much for that.
Oh, don't do that.
Brooke will cry. 5 stars. Write a little note in there about why you like the podcast. Yeah, we haven't done that in a while. So let's see if we can get some ratings and reviews this week.
Yeah.
It doesn't help us get found, but it does help our egos.
And God knows we need that.
Actually, it just helps other people know that you think it's a cool show. So we appreciate that.
Very much. Very much. Mindy, now it's time for catnaps. We love catnaps. Catnaps is a chance where we can read listeners' dreams that might just be a short little 1 sentence, couple sentence, maybe just a dream story or a little story they want to share with us. We don't really do too much interpreting. We just read through them fast so we can get a lot of entertainment in. Do you have one?
That was like absolutely perfect. Can we just record that and use it every week? Because you did a phenomenal job.
Please do, because I don't even remember what I said.
5 stars, Brooke. Just like you should rate the podcast.
Just as easy as that, you guys. 5 stars.
All right. I've got a dream from Devin, and Devin's from Fresno, California.
Okay.
My middle finger was missing, but I was okay with it.
That's the most important one.
I noticed that my middle finger was missing. It was already cut off, so I was not experiencing any blood loss or nightmarish visions. I only remember that I felt like happy still being able to grab things with my thumb and my index finger.
Wow, that's a good way to look at it.
Grabbing stuff is the most important use of the human hand.
No, I think flicking people off is.
I would agree. Now that I think about it, it would still not be a good thing if a finger was missing.
No.
But maybe the missing finger, especially the middle finger, is a symbol of offending people in my life. Is it a deeper metaphor for dealing with loss and hardship? Continuing even though you are scared to try something along the way? I don't know. And that's from Devin.
Devin, I think maybe you could be on our podcast. You've got all the right questions, all the right insight. Yes. Good job.
But here's a question for you, Brooke. If you were going to lose one finger, which one's going to be?
Pinky. You can't lose your ring finger because that's beautiful and it holds your most beautiful jewelry.
All those diamonds.
You need the middle finger. Obviously. For the most important reason. 1, you can't point at anyone if you don't have your pointer finger.
And you can't hail a cab without the thumb. Or give your approval or disapproval. You don't hail a cab with your thumb.
No, you just kind of wave.
Hey, pick me up. Yeah.
They'd probably be like, that looks like a Midwesterner hailing a cab with a thumbs up.
That's funny because it does remind me of the story when I took my daughters to the city earlier this month. There's a very small store called Brandy Melville, which if you have teenage girls or you're younger than I am, it is a clothing store. It is one size only, which is twig size. young lady size.
So not
one size.
Me.
It's
one size.
It's the size of a Barbie shirt. My
one
kids
size
love it.
Does not fit all. Well, your kids
does
are
not.
very slim.
They are. The store is like smaller than my kitchen, and it's on State Street. I believe it's State Street.
Boy.
Yeah. And there's hundreds of people that pile in and pile out of the store. You can't move in the store. It's ridiculous. And so the youngest daughter and she didn't have any money to spend, and I didn't want to be in there. So we were sitting outside the store just waiting for the older siblings to, mill around.
They all have jobs. They can buy what they want.
Exactly. Yeah, they all had jobs. So they got money to spend and burning holes in their little tiny jean pockets.
That hang out below the hem of the jean shorts?
Yes, exactly. That's where you find all those dollar bills, burning those holes. So we're waiting outside, and it's ridiculous. We start a counter to see how many people walk into the store while we're waiting. We counted 87 people and probably like
while your
15,
oldest
20
were
minute
still
time
in
span.
there?
Yeah. Took a lot. I mean, it's just constant flow of traffic.
Oh my God. I've never even heard of this.
Yeah. But I mean, it's all like
Chicago based or?
No, I mean, they have online too. It's a big online store, but it's like mostly like navy colors and greens, very like nautical, very like Hamptons type coastal colors. Wow. I mean, it's cute, cute stuff.
I like coastal colors. I like that description, coastal colors.
Yeah, you will not find red in there. You will not find pink. I mean, it's all like beachy colors. Anyways.
I like pink, Mindy.
I know. So we're sitting outside waiting for the older girls to come out, and there's a woman who in front of us who hails a cab, which you don't see that often anymore. And so I look at, and she's just got, she's got her hand up like she's.
It's still a
thing, still.
Yeah.
And I look at my youngest, I'm like, do you know what she's doing? She's just kind of like waving into the street. She's like, no. And she looks at me, she's like, what is she doing?
Things. Yeah.
And I'm like, she's hailing a cab. And she looks at me like,
what's a cab?
The most she has quizzes in her eyes, Brooke. She's looking at me with those quizzes in her eyes, and she's like, well, can't she just do it on the app? I was like, no, that's not how life, this works.
This is a real life app.
So I think the younger generation's not understanding the whole idea of taxi cab hailing.
Yeah, because it's
obviously
all like
it's not with your thumb.
Uber or Lyft or something where you use an app. But
way easier that way.
Cabs out there, people.
There's still cabs. And you hail it by just like waving your arm frantically at
you don't have to put
a
your
cab
thumb
with
out.
its lights on.
Oh, yes. You have to make sure the light is
off.
The light on top.
It already has a fare.
Let's be specific.
There you
not
go.
Headlights. At
Welcome
night,
to Teaching the Youngins Corner. Go ahead, Brooke. Explain the light.
The light is on top of the taxi cab. Taxi cab. Mm-hmm. How old does that make me sound? Not just cab or taxi. Taxi cab.
Taxi cab.
And if it's not lit, it's not available. So don't bother waving.
Sorry, got someone there.
Nope, someone's in there. So it's not going to work. It's no ride share. Sorry, people. This is not a ride share environment. These are just cabs. And they show that
wave
they're
at the
occupied
ones with the light
or
on.
Not on duty when their light is off. So there you go. Tip of the day.
Wow. Well,
just the tip, as Brooke calls it. Just the tip of the day.
I like this segment. I'm going to make a note here. We might have to keep this one. Just the tip.
I can do it.
Of the day.
Just the tip of the day.
It's like just the tip of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
See, we have the same mind. We really do.
Well, I made a note. It's official on my note cards.
Of the day. And then we could have a T-shirt that says, of
just
the
day.
Tip. Just of the day.
Let us know if you want this to be a permanent segment. You can join our Facebook group, search for Remelations Besties. We'll post something there. Let us know if you want to have Brooke's tip of the day.
I've got lots of information for you.
Would you, darling, like to share a dream?
I would love to. This is Jennifer, and she's from Chandler. And this just made me feel warm and cuddly inside.
Yay, I love it already.
I know, a little different than the long dream, right? Mm-hmm. Jennifer says, in my silliest dream, I found myself in a land of talking unicorns who wore rainbow-colored sneakers and had mustaches made of cotton candy.
Is this just Lisa Frank world?
It could be. Like I said, I could be happy if the dream ended there. But there's more.
Right?
It does sound very
Lovely.
Lisa Frank. We played hide and seek in a field of giggling flowers.
Wait, pause. Did you say hide and sink?
Did I? I meant seek. We played hide and seek, not sink.
I don't know what hide and sink is, but
I don't like it. That's what Kiki, my cat, does. She hides and sinks. She sleeps in the cabinet under the sink.
Oh, hide and sink.
Really
that is Kiki.
It is Kiki. Okay, but we're not playing hide and sink. We're playing hide and seek. Seek in a field of giggling flowers that tickled whenever you touched them.
Wow.
The clouds above rained popcorn, and we all grabbed our popcorn buckets to catch as much as we could. Then we had a popcorn fight, giggling and ducking as the fluffy kernels flew through the air. It was a dream full of laughter and joy, where everything was wonderfully wacky and delightfully childish. Wow. That's it. I agree. Yes, Mindy, exactly.
I am just
take a picture.
In awe.
Don't move. Don't move. I'm taking a picture. Is it done? Okay.
Yeah. I like it.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you, Jennifer. That was wacky and delightfully childish, and I loved every second of it.
I loved it. I couldn't come up with a better dream than that.
That sounds amazing.
Let me just live in that world forever and always.
Please, please, please take me with you.
And give me like a really gorgeous wardrobe.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
And I cannot gain a pound eating all that food.
No, that's part of the dream.
Duh.
That's part of the dream.
It's like she had a real life Candyland dream.
It really does feel like that. It really does.
Like she
it just made me
transported to Candyland.
It just made me happy. Cotton candy mustaches? Yes. That's amazing.
I'm nibbling on that shit.
I'm just going to nibble a little bit.
Mark, you might have to grow a mustache now. Get close.
Oh, wear those disco pants and grow your cotton candy mustache.
This is getting better and better. Okay, we're moving from cotton candy beautiful land to something very dark.
Ooh, okay. Well, that's only fair.
This is Heather from Redfield, South Dakota. I once had a dream where my family had paid someone to drug me and forcibly remove my pelvis. Nothing else. Just my pelvis.
I didn't mean to laugh, but I was not expecting that. Pelvis. How do you remove a pelvis? Do you just remove that
Good
section of your body? Oh, is there an answer?
What do your hips connect to anymore?
Right? I need my hips for dancing.
I was forced to live in a kiddie pool and was not allowed to have electronics or certain types of food. They refused to give me my pelvis back.
Oh, how dare they? Was it held somewhere, like, preserved her pelvis? I mean, what are they doing?
I mean, between the cell phone and the pelvis, I'll take the pelvis, please. Can I have that?
Take the pelvis
I can deal
back?
without a cell phone. No, I don't know. Once it comes out, how do you put it back in?
You can't.
You can't. It's too much.
Too much.
It was so strange. I still remember the feeling of nothing between my spine and my leg bones. Just being forced to live as what felt like a human Slinky.
Oh, no.
I woke up from that dream feeling icky and decided to have a shower to wash the ick away. Side note at the end here. I had this dream when I was 16, and now I'm 22. and this dream still haunts me.
I'm so
Feel free to psychoanalyze if you'd like to, or I'd like to hear your takes on it. Oh, Heather.
Aww. Heather.
At 15, I'm thinking, like, take away everything I need. My pelvis, my cell phone, food.
That's it. Those are the 3 things you need as a teenager.
If you lose your middle finger, how are you going to flip off those parents?
You can't. You're going to have to go like...
Oh, you have to do Can you explain what you just did for the audio listeners here, Brooke?
Lift up one arm in a 90-degree angle, and then take your other arm and smack your upper arm like, fuck you. And make a fist.
Or you could do it like the Friends way, where you go like this.
Friends, 2 fists banging together at the pinkies. Bumping at the pinkies.
Bump those fists at the pinkies.
If you want to see what we're talking about, you need to become a sleepover squad member. And Bestie, you want to see this. I guarantee it.
We've just been flipping you off for the last 5 minutes. You don't even know it.
See? But we love you.
Always. Yep. You got another one for us today?
I do. And it's not really a dream. It's more of a list. I think I've done this before where I've had someone just send in like a whole bunch of lists of dreams that they've had. So like they're like one sentence. So I'm just going to read from Craig. He's from Little Rock. So here's just a bunch. I have given a choke slam to a dinosaur. I have been
coming out strong here.
Coming out strong. I have been partner of The Rock in a tag team match. And he says, let's not talk about the result.
Oh, sensitive topic. Hashtag.
What does
Dwayne The Rock Johnson dream?
You're going to have to keep yours because I said like Dwan.
Dwanson?
Dwanson? What is Dwanson
I'm leaving that in.
Dream?
What is Dwanson dream?
What is Dwayne Johnson dream? Oh, and I would love to know. He's such a nice guy in real life. Okay, anyway.
Oh my God. Like in love with him. Like he's such a good guy.
And he's got the charisma too. He's just got it. He's got the
to have that much confidence. He drips in confidence. Like, can you have any more? He wears the confidence crown.
He does. He's got that confidence crown. Absolutely. But Craig, back to Craig. I have become Spider-Man in my dreams, but when some emergency came, I forgot how to throw the web. I have been Superman, but forgotten how to fly. I had a fight with a monkey gang, and I've beaten up their asses very hard, but I received some punches too. I want to hear more about the
details of that
gang.
One. Yeah.
I do want to hear that.
Dangerous. They're dangerous.
I have been with Chandler on Friends and beaten him up. I have spent a night in prison with Schofield figuring out the plan to escape. And I'm sorry, that one got me because that's from Prison Break. And Michael Schofield. I love Prison Break. And that's Wentworth Miller. Who is one of my biggest crushes. And not unfortunately is he gay. I don't mean it unfortunately. Good for him. But unfortunately for me.
For you.
Gay because
I get that sometimes.
Enjoy him and would enjoy his further company, as I might say. Okay.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yes. I have saved my family from a snake attack. I have kept a lion as my pet, and I have roamed around the city on its back. Ooh, I like that one.
That'd be fun.
And did I mention that King Kong happens to be my best friend? And that's it. Thank you, Craig. You sound like a very interesting person, and I would like to hear more, and I think everybody would like to hear more about this details
Need
of your
more
dreams.
Details. Need more details.
More details.
And man, we could have picked quite a few hashtags from Craig's stream.
I know.
Amazing.
But I mean, I just want
the first one.
Dwayne Johnson. The Rock.
Yeah, we got it.
We want to hear from you, Dwayne.
Mr. Rock, sir.
Mr. Rock.
Let us know what you dream.
Please.
Mr.
Please
Johnson.
and thank you.
Let us know. Do you dream of like Candyland? Perhaps.
Ooh.
I could see him. I could see him eating a cotton candy mustache.
Ooh, like one of us were his own mustache, and he's like trying to eat his own mustache.
I would eat The Rock's mustache. That sounds bad. I love my husband. Moving along.
Let's take that out of context and just put that I would eat The Rock's mustache out there. T-shirt. I would eat The Rock's mustache. Don't tell my husband.
Oh boy, you're gonna get me in trouble from Mark.
Sorry.
Here. Okay.
Sorry. Thanks, Craig.
There's only one mustache I eat. This also sounds bad. Moving along.
Mustache.
No, he does not, and he never has. And I think I would die if I ever saw him with a mustache or any facial hair. I have never ever seen him with facial hair. I think it would be weird.
I'm gonna text him real quick. Be like,
to grow out a mustache.
Growing it out, dude. Let's just see what happens.
This dream comes from Cody, and he's from Marshalltown, Iowa.
Oh.
From ages 10 to 13, I had some serious problems with sleeping. I would jolt up in the middle of the night and start screaming. I would sprint throughout the house yelling bloody murder until my mom and dad tackled me and dragged me back to my room.
Oh, no.
Is the term bloody murder just like an Iowa thing, or do other people say scream bloody murder?
Oh, that's a good question. What is the heritage or the lineage of that term? I always like to know that.
Because my mom always said, if you get kidnapped, scream bloody murder.
Yes, that is something I always heard growing up, or even now, like bloody murder, scream bloody murder. So let us know, Bestie. That does not mean that, like, if someone's attacking you, you do what Mindy just did and said, bloody murder. That just means you scream. You scream.
Oh, like my mom and I always joke that you actually say the term bloody murder.
Is that like when they say you should scream fire instead of like rape? Because more people respond to fire than rape, which is sad.
That's a shame.
And scary. I know.
I don't like that story.
I don't like it either, but they're like, if anything is happening to you, you should scream fire because it reaches more people. I know. Isn't it? I don't like that.
Okay, well.
Anyway.
So, Cody was screaming bloody murder in the middle of the night, not fire. We've talked about this.
Sorry.
What? What am I doing?
Nothing. It was just funny because you like waited, but then when you waited, it made me process and laugh that you were waiting.
Sorry. Okay.
It's okay. It was the right thing to do, Mindy.
We've talked about this to doctors and searched the web for the diagnosis, and it seems to be night terrors. Not only did I have these night terrors, but I would also fuck around in the house while sleepwalking.
Oh, no. Causing mischief, Cody.
And here's where the story starts.
Uh-oh.
So one school morning I woke up. My bed felt weird and I could tell that something was wrong. I looked at my bed and saw what was wrong. The sheets were missing. I had this happen on a number of occasions where I would just tear them off in a fury of sleepwalking power or shove them somewhere like my drawer or closet.
Sleepwalking power. It's true.
I like it.
It's true, though. Yeah.
Yep. Well, this particular morning, I couldn't find them. So I just decided to find them when I came home from school. So I get to school and everything's going great. And I enter first period ready for some English. The teacher says, nice. All right, everyone take out your literature textbooks and turn to page whatever the fuck. And I open my bag and suddenly, holy shit, there's my bed sheets. There they are, shoved into my bag.
You're killing me here, bud. You're killing me.
I'm sitting there like, what the fuck am I going to do with these? Just imagine a tiny 7th grader walking around school with a heap of sheets around his body because I didn't know what else to do. Embarrassing.
Yeah, that's embarrassing, Cody.
Oh,
I must admit.
That is.
I feel badly for you.
I do. It just keeps, it's like a traumatic, you'd think it would be contained to your home, but then to have it come out in junior high and like middle school, like, that's tough.
That's tough stuff. Oh, but thank you for sharing, Cody. I know, we're both like, we feel so badly for him.
Yeah.
So I have a dream, and this is Megan from Telluride. Whenever my dad, who died when I was 14, shows up, I know it's going to be a good dream. I remember one dream specifically. I know this is so touching. I remember one dream specifically where we went duck hunting, which I had never done before. It was just me and him creeping around a swamp on a crisp fall morning. I don't remember if we shot anything, but when we got back to the road, we put everything back in the car and we just stood there talking.
Oh.
I know. By that time, I had remembered that this must be a dream. My father had died, but I kept talking to him. We talked about girls, something we never really got to do, about guns and about cars. A few of the things we talked about were actually relevant to the current problems of mine.
Aww.
Before he left, he gave me one final hug. It was the same hug he always had given me, the heavy-set 6'2" man, and I could smell him again, his deodorant. I know. We stood there hugging for a while, and I cried. I knew that I could only ever see him in my dreams. He cried too. I think he finally knew he had passed. Remembering it was a dream, I closed my eyes tight, held them shut, and when I opened them, I was awake. I haven't had a dream about him since.
Touched my heart and touched my soul.
We both have our mouths pulled in like,
Pursed.
Oh my God. I know, Megan, that's so beautiful. And if you helped your dad move on, But he
probably helped her move on too.
Both.
Probably mutually.
But then
helpful.
He gets to move on in the afterlife and she gets to move on in her life. Oh my God. When I read this dream, it was heartbreaking, but also inspiring.
Beautiful.
Like, yes, it is beautiful. So thank you for sharing, Megan. Thank you very much.
What's a beautiful note to end on. Thank you, Megan, for sharing that. Well, moving along to our topic, because I don't really know a great transition from that dream because that was beautiful, but let's take a step here into pop culture to start.
I'll take that step.
I'm going to give you a couple shows or movies, and let's see if you can tie a string to see what my topic might be.
All right, let's give it a whirl.
The Magic School Bus, The Notebook, Doctor Who, Heroes, the TV show, Back to the Future, Quantum Leap.
Am I going to guess time travel? Am I just guess time travel?
You got it.
Because I think I know the answer. I love it.
You do. You get an A+. And here's the reason why. I was watching the pilot episode of X-Files, which I tend to do because it's one of our favorite shows of all time.
Can I ask you a question? Is that the one with the bugs? Like they
that was the one with the teenagers that they thought in the forest that thought there was a cult, but there was an alien abduction.
Okay. Okay, because I think the second episode was with the bugs. I'm like, just barely remembering. You're right. Yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about. All right, let's go.
Pilot episode, X-Files. Actually, do you know what year X-Files premiered in?
Oh, God. I want to say 91? 92.
1993.
I was close.
September 10th, 1993.
I knew it was before we were friends because I watched it before you did, and I think I made you a fan or made you watch it so we could talk about it, and you became a fan. Okay.
We did. Yep. And then I would watch with my mom.
Yes, you would watch
and she
with
was a
your
huge
mom.
fan as well.
Mm-hmm. I remember that. Yes.
And Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, don't even get me started on these two shows.
If you don't know, X-Files was a series that was started in 1993. It was created by Chris Carter.
Yay.
In the season premiere, Mulder and Scully, head FBI agents, go off to investigate the disappearance of teenagers in the woods. Now, Scully being the scientific person, she was thinking it had something to do with the occult, where Mulder obviously thought it was UFO, alien, paranormal related.
That's why they called him Spooky Mulder.
Spooky.
Fox Spooky Mulder. And maybe you're wondering why I have a cat named Spooky.
Ding, ding, ding.
It's because of X-Files. So now you know.
The more you know. In the episode, as Mulder and Scully are driving to the site that the supposed abduction happened, there's a blinding flash of light, and the detective's car loses power. Mulder looked at his watch just before the incident. He says, I remember this then
so clearly. Okay.
We lost 9 minutes.
Yes.
He was extremely excited about this, and Mulder exits the car and discovers that they are the exact same spot of the red X on the road that he had previously marked as the area of paranormal activity. Yes.
No. I meant area of question.
Oh, the area of question. I'm sorry. I thought you had a question.
No, I know. You're like, yes.
He excitedly explains to the skeptic Scully that people who have sighted UFOs often report loss of time. However, Scully argues that time cannot just disappear. It is consistent throughout the universe, and their car restarts by itself, and they continue on. But that was not the only episode, because I had to, of course, do a deep dive into, the X-Files Wikipedia. And that was not the only episode where they talked about time travel.
There was one about the Bermuda Triangle that
was I didn't even pull that one into this.
I know, but it was they showed the timelines of how, anyway.
Mulder time slipped into, Nazi era submarines.
But
in the
they
Bermuda
were in
Triangle.
Bermuda Triangle. But then the episode showed Mulder's timeline and Scully's timeline and how they interact. It was good.
It was good. That was one of the better ones. But that was too long to explain. But I pulled another one.
We went ahead and explained it anyway.
Yeah, we did. Why not? We can't help. We're fans. In episode 17 of the same season, the first season, there was an episode called EBE where Mulder records a residual variation of time near Lexington, Tennessee, by starting 2 stopwatches, leaving one outside the affected area and taking one inside. And when he returns, he sees that there's a difference in the time of the stopwatches, meaning there was a time slip.
Yep. He's a smart fella. He didn't go to Oxford for nothing.
She would know. Brooke would know. So this topic is huge, right? And this is one of those topics I want to talk about because when we sleep, isn't it just nothing but a time slip, right? We slip into unconsciousness or a different state of consciousness, and 8 hours later, pass a second, and we're awake. And in the meantime, we have these crazy visions. If you're Brooke, it's 30 seconds here and there.
I get little 30-second catnaps here and there.
That's true. Brooke's life is a whole big catnap.
In every sense of the word,
it's true.
My life is a catnap. Yes, correct.
But this is one of those big topics. It's hard for me to do these topics because I can literally spend days upon days trying to get to the end of the string, and there's no end to this, right?
Yeah, Mindy. I know. I want to
it's so hard for me to do these.
Protect you and be don't start because there is no answer.
I know.
You're going to drive yourself crazy. And the only reason I can say that to you is because I know how the Virgo mind works and how you can't stop thinking about something. What's in there? And I just want to hold you and hug you and be it's okay. It's okay.
We're gonna this has a finite end. Don't worry. This might be a long episode, but there is an end. I had to stop. I actually stopped 15 minutes before we started recording. So I had to stop.
Shut up.
I had to. I love
it. Okay.
So here's the question I had. What's the difference between time travel, time skips, and time slips?
Jeez. Okay.
Because I've heard those terms used interchangeably.
I don't think they are interchangeable. Maybe time slips and time, what was the third one?
Skips, slips.
Slips and skips, I think, could probably be interchangeable, but not time travel. I feel like that's completely
Well, you're on
different.
something.
Okay.
You're on to something. Time travel is being able to choose an exact point in time of where you want to go to.
Sure.
Okay.
Like November 5th, 1955 from Back to the Future.
Wow, you know that?
I think that's the date. Don't post it.
If it's not, I'm going to cut it. But if it is
right.
All the props, girl. All the props.
I don't know where that date came from, but I think it might be right.
I would believe that you would know that. So again, time travel, being able to exactly choose the point in time. Time skips, like in the Mulder example, the X-Files example, it's a loss of time, which can also is usually paranormal related. There's a skip of time. So I lost 10 minutes associated due to whatever. And then time slips are accidental. Like you don't mean for it to happen, but it's typically a time where you slip backwards in time and you don't mean to do it, but it just happens to you.
Oh, that is very interesting. I didn't think of a time slip.
Slip me back, baby.
Slip me back.
The idea of time travel has been around for a while. Ancient myths in Hinduism and Buddhism mention it, but I don't want to go that far back. Let's just go back to Einstein and let's talk about it scientifically.
So we're in the previous century.
Exactly. There's this guy named Einstein. You might not have heard of him.
Mm-hmm.
He had this thing called the theory of relativity. You might have heard of that as well. Einstein's theory of relativity said is time and space are linked together. Mm-hmm. Now, we know that time on Earth is a made-up construct. Let's try to explain it a little bit better. Einstein was many years ago, but have you heard of Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Oh, I love him. He's great.
Love him. I mean, don't you just love him? Like,
I mean, he's so fascinating to listen to. He's so smart. I just love everything about him.
So for our bestie who may not know, he's a astrophysicist. He's on like the TikTok. He's on like the Reels. Like he's the guy who's trying to make science, break it down for simple people, right?
Yes,
make it fun
and break it down. Yes.
What he goes on to explain is that we travel linearly through time. So say that 1 second equals 1 second, right? Because that's what we've said. 1 second is it's a made up construct, but 1 second is 1 second. However, the universe has a speed limit, if you didn't know, Brooke.
Oh, I probably have some tickets from going above that speed limit.
Yeah, when you were on your like super turbo boosters in space.
Yep. I go extra fast.
Warp speed 3000.
Warp speed.
Nothing can travel faster than the speed of light. Do you have any idea how fast the speed of light is? Before you answer, let me help you out a little bit here. Okay. We're not talking miles per hour. We'd be talking miles per second. So how many miles per second is the speed of light?
17,000. 100,000.
Even better of a guess. 186,000 miles per second.
Wow.
That's pretty fast.
That's fast.
If you're not following that speed limit, folks, then
if you go above that speed limit, you deserve a ticket.
So the faster you travel, the slower you experience time. It's a scientific proven fact. So just like Mulder, let's go back to the Mulder episode. I just call it Mulder episode.
Please.
Let's go back to X-Files. That
please.
episode that has the 2 stopwatches. Let's imagine those 2 stopwatches in a real scientific way. One stopwatch is on Earth, and one stopwatch is on an airplane. The airplane's going super fast, And it's going the same direction as the rotation of the Earth. Okay. Now, if you're going to look at both those stopwatches, when you bring them back together, the airplane stopwatch will be slightly behind the stopwatch on the ground.
No shit.
So the faster you go, the slower time is. It's a hard concept, right?
It's super
because it would seem
hard.
Backwards.
It's super backwards. Like I'm hearing this for the first time, just like our listeners may or may not be hearing this for the first time. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. But you know what? Here's what I wrote on my notes next. A lot of math stuff. Don't like it. It doesn't make... I'm just going to skip the math part of this because I am not an astrophysicist.
Please do.
But instead, let's get into some stories. Have you ever heard of Scott Kelly? He is an American astronaut. He has been in space a long time. He's a 53-year-old American
International Space Station?
He was. He is a veteran of 4 space flights. He's been retired for a while now, but at one point he spent 11 continuous months on the International Space Station.
Oh my God, 11 months. Could you imagine?
I'd be bored.
All you have is responsibility. But even so, it's like it's not like you can go outside for a walk. I mean, you can, but it's a spacewalk. And it probably takes about 10,000 steps to prep for. 11 months is a long time.
Airtight.
I get it. I mean, it probably takes a minute to get to space and back. So
he has orbited the Earth 5,440 times.
What?
And he made 3 spacewalks. So he went out for a walk 3 times.
Good job. Oh my goodness.
But the interesting thing I find about him is he is an identical twin. And his twin was also an astronaut. So what they did, NASA, all those smarty pants, decided to do studies, one staying on Earth and one going into space, and seeing what kind of differences would happen to their bodies and minds and whatever being in space and on Earth.
I fucking love this. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear, but I swear, and I fucking love this.
Brooke, this is an explicit podcast. Please, go ahead.
Yes, it is. Explicit.
Let's talk about those 520 days where he's just zooming around the Earth at 17,500 miles per hour. And for our other besties, that is 28,160 kilometers per hour.
It's fast, is what you need to know. It's fast.
Scott is the astronaut. Mark is his twin brother. Now, what they found with the study is that his telomeres, I hope I'm saying that right, telomeres, basically these things that are at the end of our chromosomes, they typically shorten with stress and age. But Scott, being in space, these were longer than his twin brothers. I know, very micro age. So our astronaut Scott, who is born naturally 6 minutes younger than Mark, came back 6 minutes and 13 milliseconds younger from being in space.
Shut
up. We're talking a little bit of time.
I can't.
By looking at these things at the end of our chromosomes, they said that he is 13 milliseconds younger from his orbits in space.
That's bananas. Weird, right? That's crazy.
Well, let's talk about a guy named Stephen Hawking. You might have heard of him.
I have heard of him. Who is that dude?
And for our besties who might not,
Stephen Hawking is.
Brooke, can you explain who Stephen Hawking is?
Stephen Hawking is a genius, basically. He is one of the smartest people there is on the planet and has ever been. But his genius is known on so many levels. Yes.
Speaking of time travel, one of the smartest guys to have lived. 2009, Stephen Hawking ran an experiment that required champagne, balloons, and hors d'oeuvres.
I love this
He wanted
experiment.
to prove that backwards time travel isn't possible.
Oh.
This was on the Discovery Channel as a captured event on video, which showed Hawking dressed up. There was balloons and decorations on the wall, a giant banner that said, "Welcome time travelers." So let me tell you about his little experiment here.
Okay, let's hear it.
So this was June 28th, 2009, at a specific location on the University of Cambridge campus. Hawking had an event where he had this party, hors d'oeuvres, champagne, looking good, feeling good. This guy is he's smart. Banner, welcoming time travelers.
Yes. I welcome time travelers. I just don't have champagne.
Caviar. So we sat there and waited and waited. But the thing is, and the thing that made this an experiment was he didn't send the invitations out till after the party already happened to see if time travelers who found this invitation in the future would be able to come back to his party. This is blowing your mind because this blew my mind.
I can't. Okay, keep going.
So his invitation, which again, he sent out after the party. There is a copy online if you want to find it. We'll also put it on our Facebook group. Here's what it says. You are cordially invited to a reception for time travelers, hosted by Professor Stephen Hawking, to be held in the past at University of Cambridge, Granville and Cullius College, Trinity Street, Cambridge. Location, he gave actual coordinates of 52 degrees, 12 minutes, 21 seconds north, 0 degrees, 7 minutes, 4.7 seconds east, 12 o'clock UT, 28th of June, 2009.
Wow.
And it says, no RSVP required. Which I think is hilarious because he had a little sense of humor.
It is hilarious. That's very cheeky of him. Oh,
it's very cheeky.
Oh, you're just such a card.
He thought it would be very hard for people to travel to the past. And so he did not expect anyone to show up, and no one did. But an interesting experiment.
Yes.
But why? But why did no one come? Is it because the invitations that were printed on paper, perhaps, or digital, no longer existed in the time where we became time travelers?
This is so complicated. I love it.
It is so complicated. And good thing you're not drinking today because you're sharp as a tack, Brooke.
Sharp as a tack.
Because what they say is how time holes work or wormholes in space.
Yep.
You can't go further back than when the wormhole was created. So if we haven't invented time travel yet, you can't really go back to something that hasn't yet been created.
Because you would have no way back.
Right?
Okay.
Is what they're saying. I know it's very complicated. I'm trying here.
Processing. We're all processing.
I'm not Stephen Hawking. I'm not Albert Einstein. I'm just a podcaster. Don't ask me
You're
questions.
not Stephen Hawking? Are you sure?
No.
Maybe he is reincarnated into you, but that would have had to happen when you were born.
We missed
right?
a couple decades. Yeah.
I think you missed it by a little bit.
The other explanation is the multiverse, that we have multiple universes happening at once. I mean, seen in Marvel movies, or something happens in your life and you split into different timelines. Either way, I have a couple stories to share with you.
Let's hear
of examples of time travel.
Okay.
So let's go all the way back to 1954. This is called the story, The Man from Tourette. A man arrives at Tokyo International Airport. He has a passport.
Mm-hmm.
He is described as a Caucasian man with a beard. Some say this man handed over a passport to be stamped by the Japanese immigration officials. When the officials realized that the passport seemed fine, but the country where it was issued from was called Tourette.
Tourette?
Hey, Brooke, have you ever heard Tourette? Have you ever heard of the country of Tourette?
Is that a real country? Because is it? No,
it does not exist. And if in current time or past time, Tourette, the country of Tourette, does not exist.
Wow, this guy created a realistic passport from a non-existent country.
Well,
wow.
Here's how he explains it. So immigration officers arrest the man on suspicions of being a criminal, fake passport. They go to interrogate him further and to figure out like what's going on. So they ask this guy like, where are you from? And he says he's from the country of Cherished. He swears up and down. He says his country has been around for at least 1,000 years. So they
oh boy.
So they bring out a map and they're like, well, can you explain to us where the country of Cherishd's from? And
I would like to know too.
So the country of Cherished, he pointed to on the map, and it was between the countries of Spain and France.
Okay. How do you spell it? Can you tell me how you spell this country's name?
According to what I found, it is spelled Taured, Cherished.
Cherished, okay.
And they're like, no, does not exist. So this guy...
they're like, no.
Man, you're crazy. So they take him and they sequester him because they think that maybe he is a criminal with a fake passport and he's saying he's from 1,000 years so in the future. So they place 2 guards outside of his hotel. But guess what happened? They went to check on him the next day.
He was gone.
Poofed. Vanished.
Gonzo.
Gone back to Cherished. However, he slipped in the timeline. He has gone forward. So if there is a country of Cherished 1,000 years in the future, we don't know.
Awesome.
Maybe
awesome.
not.
Maybe there is. People probably think this is bananas. This is crazy. And I do too. But what if this guy's for real?
Right?
What if this guy's for real? You got to think about this.
There's plenty of stories. Yeah, there's lots of stories out there. Here's another one. This one happened in 1996. We were living it up as sophomores in high school.
Just party animals, the 2 of us.
Totally. Sleepovers and everything. We are in Liverpool at a place called Bold Street. B-O-L-D. Bold Street. A gentleman named Frank and his wife, Carol, decided to go to the little shops. Carol wanted to buy a book from the bookstore. And so she walks into the store called Waterstones, and Frank ends up running into one of his buddies and is like, hey, I'll catch up with you in a minute. Him and his friend sit there and talk for a little while his wife goes to shop.
Okay.
After this little brief conversation with his friend, Frank turned around to go meet his wife. Frank turned onto Bold Street, a store that he's seen there multiple times, this bookstore. He looks at it and it's not called Waterstone Bookstore. It is instead called Cripps. He sees a sign on the front, and it's like, that's not the name that I just saw a few moments ago. Just then, a van speeded by him with the name of Cadence on the side, and it had an old-fashioned, like, car horn, like, well, Aruga.
Okay.
Aruga. I don't know.
Like Aruga.
Aruga. I don't know.
I know exactly what you're talking about when you say
like, what kind of, like, old-timey car horn? So a lot of things are happening to Frank. He's like, that my wife just walked in there. It doesn't look the same. This car just passed me. It's got old-timey feel. And all of a sudden, he realizes everyone around him is different. It's like they're stuck in the 50s or 60s. Now, mind you, this is 1996. Okay. He saw men wearing hats, women wearing headscarves. The clothing was all different.
A more dignified era.
Right.
You
96?
Dress up to, yes.
What are you wearing? Low-rise jeans? No, you're probably wearing like Jankos.
Jankos in the 90s, as opposed to in the 50s, if you were getting on a plane, you would dress up in your Sunday best and a hat,
and
maybe.
If you're shopping,
and like, not, I mean, they're not Jankos. Like,
they're not Jankos.
We're very cash in the 90s, but in the 50s, everything was prim and proper.
Yep. So he finds this really awkward. He starts walking towards the store. Outside the bookstore, he notices this woman who is not his wife, but just a young woman who also looked very confused and was wearing 90s clothes. And him and her were the only ones that were dressed in the same. So he starts walking towards the store, and this woman's looking at him. What's going on? He's walking towards her. That what's going on. Instead of books in this bookstore window, there are like handbags and shoes and umbrellas. And they kind of just like smile at each other and they start like walking into the store like, what are we experiencing? And just like that, turns back to the bookshop.
What? This is crazy.
Frank does not know this woman. When this occurred in 1996, he has no idea who this woman is.
That was also a time traveler.
Yes.
Okay.
They had like 2 stories of people who traveled at the same time from 1996 back to the 1950s.
How did that happen? 1996. It's so specific.
Right. It's so specific. And, many people think, was it a scam? Are they trying to become famous? But from what we can see is he only told one person. She collaborated the story. They never sought fame and fortune from this. They didn't want to do interviews. They're like, this is just something that happened to both of us at the same time, and we can't explain it.
This is crazy. 1996. Like,
now looking back, there was a store called Cripps in that exact same spot in the 1950s. And there was also that car that sped by him, the Aruga car. There was that said Cardin's. There was also a firm that owned a bunch of vans at the time that was named Cardin's. And so everything kind of lined up with the 1950s era. It was a time slip.
Wow.
So I have one more story from you, and this is even more recent. This is from January of 2003.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
so 20 years ago.
This is the year my oldest was born in. So this is like recent to me.
Yeah.
A man named Andrew Carlson was arrested and detained by the police for insider trading on Wall Street.
Okay.
He was arrested by the cops on allegations he must have had illegal insider information. Andrew invested $800 into the stock market.
Oh, 800. Okay.
$800. Very quickly, he turned around and made $350 million within 2 weeks of trading.
That's quite a turnaround.
I think that is a good investment. I don't know about you, but that is pretty.
That seems profitable. Mm-hmm. $800.
The cops obviously thought something is going on, and they arrested him. When they arrested him, all Andrew had to say, he was from the year 2256. That's from the future.
Out.
He knew exactly how the stocks were going to perform.
Wow. So why didn't he put more than $800 in? I guess he didn't need to. If he got,
you don't need to.
He got what, 350 million?
Yeah, but like if you're where you're taking it to the future,
if you know what it's gonna be, go big, dude. Go. I mean, not that you didn't 250 mil, but $800. If you had put in more, just think. And what are you gonna do with that money?
Right.
Like you said, take it with you.
He's not trying to draw like attention, but he did.
He did.
He gets arrested. He was let out on bail, and guess what? He was never found again.
Time travel. Wow.
And that, my friends, is the story of time travel. As much as I can without, I know this is a long episode, but I just can't help myself. I just can't help myself.
Myself?
But let me ask you, myself. But here's a question, Brooke. If you're in time travel, and you can go, here, I'll make it very simple. You can either go to the future or the past. Where would you go?
Tough one. Oh, boy. I always thought I would go to the past to experience maybe like the 60s in our country.
Yeah.
Just that time frame. But
you picked the 60s. Interesting.
Yes. Now I'm like more curious about seeing what happens in the future. So I'm kind of like on the fence here because I always thought I would want to go back in time. I'll go forward.
You know I'm a stickler with this. You're going forward.
I know. You can't break the rules. Yeah, I'll go future.
I can't. Yeah. Okay.
How about you?
Well, I think the only thing that would bother me about the future is I wouldn't want to know what happened to me or if something happened to my kids. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want to know if something bad happened. Like, I would kind of
want to know. I mean, I get it.
I wouldn't
want to know so you could enjoy your present. But at the same time, it's so complicated because it could change.
I think I'd have to go to the past. I think I would go.
Okay.
I think I would like to go to, like, get me into, like, the 1910s, 1920s. I want to be like that girl that everyone's like, oh, she is a rebel for right now. Like, I want to be like. You want to
go to, like, Prohibition times.
Well, no, because that would suck. But I want to go to the time where, like, women were expected to act one way, and I would just be like, no, that's not how it's working here, bro. It's not how it's working.
You're going to blow it out of the water. I love it.
I would just be like,
make a difference,
girls. Let's get some suffrage going here. Let's get some
suffrage and some shimmying going on.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. We're same. We're equal. If anything.
I love it. Never thought about that. Wow. I thought about a different cultural time. That's crazy. Like,
but that would be interesting.
Both tumultuous times, both, like, if you were during World War I, let's say, and I was maybe near the end of Vietnam, or, I mean, not near the end, but, like, near the end of the 60s into Vietnam, like, we both
that would be interesting
times. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Right? Make a difference. Bestie, let us know what you'd pick. We're going to post this question in our Facebook group. Search for Remelations Besties. Let us know, where are you time traveling? I'd love to know.
Chitty chitty chat chat. What do you got? I got nothing for the week.
That's it. Oh, wow. Wednesday. Nice update. Wow. You suck.
Yes. I've got an update for you. Nothing has happened this week. I'm just prepping and packing.
Excellent. Yeah, so next episode, we're going to talk about something very exciting you have coming up, a trip planned.
I do.
I think you alluded to it earlier, but we got some more details now.
I may have or may not have. I'm going to Bora Bora in just a few days here now, people, on my actual birthday, September 3rd. So
send all the gifts to me, because I'll be crying that she's in Bora Bora.
Make sure to give Mindy lots of wine.
I'm going to miss my best friend.
Send it to our P.O. box.
146, Waco, Illinois. Wasco, Illinois. I don't know the postal code. It's on our website.
It's the big difference between Wasco and Waco.
Good point. What's the name of that little town that's between here and there? Yeah, that's the one.
Yes.
So I'm going to miss you tons.
I'm going to miss you too, but I'll be back. Don't worry.
So next week, we're going to get a little bit more about your plans about the trip, because we are going to record that ahead of time. So hold on, bestie.
Just hold on.
I know you're excited. I am. Wait, there's one question. Have you started packing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah. I'll send you pictures of my list, and Please. I'll send you pictures of my wardrobe plan.
Can't wait. And your itinerary, please.
And itinerary. And I'll also go ahead and take a picture of my pre-pack test run, because I have packed and repacked twice now, and I have gotten into carry-on.
Love it.
Which is unbelievable for me. But I am a little worried that it's pushing the limits just a little bit. Well, I have a snorkel and fins I have to pack. It's not the smallest, most easy thing to pack. Yeah. So it's been a little bit of a challenge.
You'll figure it out. My Virgo bestie, you'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out.
I'll figure
it out. How about you? What you been up to? What you been up to?
Watch me up to? I am just enjoying this kind of like cool mornings. Being able to turn off the air conditioning at night because it gets down to 50 and having that beautiful sleep temperature.
luxurious. It is.
It's down to 50. The windows are open. I am like under the blankets, just snuggling next to my husband. It's like the best sleeping temperature.
That is. It really is.
It's the best time of year.
You have to be a little chilly to get under the blankets, and especially then to cuddle too. Oh, I love it.
That's it. That's the only exciting thing I have to share. I'm just enjoying the current sleep temperature.
I agree. I agree. This is our exciting life, you guys.
And in my dream last night, I might have almost run over someone's head, but that's we'll save that for another day in a car.
Yeah, that's not a big deal.
Good. No, but we'll save that. We'll save that.
Because you said almost, which to me says you didn't.
I didn't because they were still alive. So we'll get into that on the upcoming episode of that dream. But that's what the cool sleep, I guess, gets my brain. Well, that wraps up another episode, Bestie. But before you take off, do us one favor, and that's to tell your best friend about the podcast. Even though you might hate her because she's going to Bora Bora and you're not, you can still tell her about the show because you love her anyway. You do.
I love you too.
Gotta listen to something on the plane. Or you can tell your favorite melancholy clown about the podcast. I'm just gonna juggle. I think, look at my flower. Squirt, squirt. You can tell
squirt.
You can tell your favorite shopkeeper that's missing that one middle finger. Did I ever tell you my grandpa cut off his pinky with a table? This is a story for another day. Anyways, tell your favorite persons that's missing one phalange, or you can tell your favorite tag team member, if it's The Rock, tell him we want to know about his dream. Just tell them about the show.
Yes.
Sharing is caring. Tell your bestie about the podcast. That's how we grow. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Hannah and your amazingly creepy dream and all of our catnaps. It was so much fun. So thank you very much. So bestie, until next week, if you're going to time travel, put on your seatbelts.
Woo, click, click.
And until then,
sweet dreams, bitches. You gotta wear your seatbelts when you're time traveling.
You gotta wear
because
your
it's dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
It's very fast. Like we're talking 180,000 miles per second.